Assalamu alaikum. I'm Yvonne Maffei, the founder and CEO of MyHalalKitchen.com. My Halal Kitchen started with a really simple idea of sharing my well-tested recipes and a pretty large vision of showing that halal is a healthy way to live. I started it as a little blog in my tiny kitchen and a laptop. And the main intention was to really show that any cuisine could be halal. And the reason being is because I did not grow up Muslim, I'm a convert, and I was finding that a lot of recipes I grew up with in the Italian, Sicilian, Puerto Rican background that I have could be made halal very easily, and that the Muslim community that I worked with as a teacher didn't really know that and found it to be very interesting and delicious. So we've since grown from a blog to, I consider ourselves a media company that not only offers a fully resourceful website, but engages an audience of nearly 1 million Facebook followers, actually nearly 1 million followers in all of our social media combined. So what's on our website? What's our main content? Our main content are recipes, articles on halal living, homemaking. Of course, halal substitutes are very important and popular. And then food news about brands and products that are really interesting to our readers about, for example, the transparency of halal companies and how food comes from farm to fork. So they really like that. Okay, our story. The website is our primary platform with an average of 70 to 80,000 unique visitors per month. And for anyone searching on for halal recipes online, we are the #1 spot on Google. So they'll find us first, which is great. So because of most of our users actually find us through their mobile devices. So our soon-to-be launched apps for iOS and Android will offer them easy access to the same unique content generated from the website, because the website content will pull straight to the apps, and it'll make it easier for them to be able to push a button, get the articles and recipes, and also get access to giveaways and sponsorships, which our brand sponsors will really love. Our online store is also positioned to expand and offer a unique shopping experience for consumers who want halal products. And those are usually halal products that they learn about on our site and our platforms, meaning social media and so on. Our newsletter gives us the opportunity to reach over 8,000 email subscribers directly, and that's a chance for us to talk to them not just about our content, but also to tell them about promotional offerings from our sponsors. So who's our team? How do we make this all happen? I've been bootstrapping the business by myself for a very long time, but recently I was able to have the great fortune of having an amazing virtual team. And these are people who are really dedicated to my vision, as well as really understanding the halal industry. So they know what the potential is of the halal industry, but they also understand our massive potential that we have. So I like to look at our numbers in a larger context and see, what does this all mean, and what are we really doing? What is our vision for the future, and who can we really compare ourselves to in the grand scheme of things? Well, I always hear the word Martha Stewart, and she's been in business for over 30 years. She has about 1.2 million followers on Facebook, and we are not far behind. So let's talk about the money. How do we make our money? From the get-go, My Halal Kitchen I've treated it as a business, not a hobby. Many people assume that digital media is difficult to monetize. However, our strategy has always been to first build the brand and gain the trust of our followers, very, very important, and then launch relevant products and unique content, affording us the ability to generate revenue through brand sponsorship and products sold online and at live events. So since 2012, we've seen a growth rate of 150 to 200% a year, and we expect to exceed that in the next 5 years. And since we're a virtual company and our expenditures are very low, we think that that's very possible. So where do we go from here? We are so excited. Okay, so we're really excited about the future. I think our biggest issue is just really choosing which opportunities to select to grow and to scale the business and reach a wider audience and grow our content. Is that my time?
Yeah. So Farah and Shama are going to cover this company. So Farah, you can go first. So Yvonne, this is the market that you're targeting is a personal and a professional passion of mine. So congratulations on picking a very big market that you're targeting. Ethnic foods, from all the research that I come across, is one of the biggest, fastest growing categories, as Adnan knows very well as well. But as you think about scaling your business model profitably, you mentioned ad revenue and product revenue as the key vectors for growth. Have you thought about sponsorships or partnerships with retailers to really potentially pursue that path?
Absolutely. I'm looking at as really relevant sponsorships, relevant partnerships with brands, not just actually halal brands, but natural and organic, as long as they fit in the value that of halal as well. And I think they're starting to see the potential of that. So my biggest challenge is really finding the talent, acquiring the talent to help me work on that those revenue strategies that we have in place. We can monetize the site, not just the website, but our online store, our mobile apps. They're all set to go and ready to be launched and to offer sponsorship placement. But it takes a lot of people to help make that happen. And I'm oftentimes dealing with recipes and photography and things like that. So I really am looking for the talent to help scale all of that.
Yeah, I would challenge you to pay attention to that and prioritize that, because if you just take a step back and think about how many, you mentioned Martha Stewart, right? So many people are out there already.
Right.
If I were to go look up recipes online, whether they're halal or not, there's tons of places for me to go to right now. So I want to make sure you're thinking about what is it about your site that's going to make it distinctive and sticky for people to keep coming back to, right? One of the ways you could do that is if you were to partner with a Whole Foods, or if you were to partner with local distributors, and I'm sure you know of companies like Honest Chops, right? Where a consumer can then go not just get your recipes, but then becomes a one-stop shop. You become the halal authority online, and then truly you're making something it's going to be hard for others to replicate.
Yes, and I have actually seen that when I talk to brands, they do recognize us as the industry expert in this niche market. So we're at a really big advantage of that. And from the reader standpoint, they love us because they don't have to filter recipes. They can look at our recipes. They know that they're not only well tested, but the ingredients they don't have to go somewhere else to look for a substitute. And that's really important. And since we're so engaging with the audience on Facebook and Twitter, I mean, we answer everything. We answer emails, and we really, really know our readers. So they trust us, they come back to us, and they know that once they're reading a recipe, that's it. They don't have to go to another site for that. So that's our advantage.
So I echo what Farah said. This is such an interesting field, and what you're doing, totally kudos to that, that you have so many followers. When you were going through the presentation, you said you have virtual team members.
Yes.
And at that time I was thinking in my mind, how can you do this with virtual team members? My question to you is, what steps have you taken to raise money and hire people? Because that is something that you should be thinking about, right, for day one. And I understand it becomes a lot of work. Raising money is a full-time job too. So if you can talk a little bit about, and I'd like to learn that maybe we can help you.
Sure, that's a great question. Thank you. So the team is wonderful. They work wonderful virtually. So I've become a manager of our team, and I have a financial advisor, legal advisor. So they weren't actually in the photos, but some freelance writers, and I really do take care of what's coming in and what's going out, and I know what I can hire and who I can hire and have certain projects made. And so it's been working so far. We're not in debt. We've never been in debt. I don't pay to market. The Facebook users, for example, they're all organic. So we've been really, really careful at how the money comes in and goes out, and just selected really the right people. And I would just like more of that. So I'm looking at a huge vision to scale and to create more platforms, for example, like a magazine, where, videos. People really want the videos, and so I'm taking it step by step, but I'm really looking for ways to expand rather quickly.
So that's great. I'd like to talk to you afterwards also to see if we can help. The other thing I noticed, and it could be totally that I didn't get the right material, but the presentation that I got first, I couldn't understand what you're doing.
It was a little different than the one that was...
Yeah, so it could be I didn't get the right, but the same comment I was making to the launch good person, if you heard that, it's so important that our communication clearly explains to people what we do, and I'm sure you've done that somewhere, but I haven't seen that as yet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you have 3.5 minutes to ask questions.
Yes. Okay. So I'm talking a lot about scaling. So I guess my main question is, how can we do it in a way that is actually kind of quick? Because I can see that there's so much interest, and I don't want to wait too long to do this, because I think that halal, it's a great time to be in the halal market, and we get a lot of great feedback from mainstream. They do see us as an expert in this field. So how can I acquire a team of people, for example, like more photographers and editors, and should I keep them virtual? Should I put them in an office space? And how can I really do that? Is that a model you can see for this kind of company?
I would suggest you ask all 3 questions.
Oh, okay. The other question is about going global. So we are already global in the sense that our audience hails from pretty much every country around the globe. But I want to actually be in the global marketplace. For example, our website is translatable in 44 languages, but what about producing content that is translatable in Arabic or Urdu? Is that something that we should focus on at all, or now? I think we should, of course, but should we do that later, now? I guess I'm just sort of looking at how, when, if, things like that.
And the last question, that's it?
The last question was about... So we work with a lot of sponsors and vendors, mostly in the halal business, that are from halal businesses. But I'm looking at expanding into things like airlines and cars and car manufacturers. People who Muslims buy those products. But what I also feel sometimes is that, given the political climate that we're in, sometimes companies can pull back a little bit because they maybe aren't sure. They see the numbers, they love the numbers, but there's always some sort of overriding issue that I think sometimes makes them take some time to decide.
Okay.
So can you help me out with that?
Thank you. I'll ask Farhan Sharma first to answer any one of those questions, and then we can open up to the rest.
I'm still a little confused about your strategy. When I asked you what steps have you taken to raise money, I'm not sure what you've done, and I'm not sure you're paying those people virtually.
Yes. They are getting paid. We generate sales through our sponsorships that we have now. I've also published a cookbook, so we have cookbook sales, paperback books, online versions of books. And then we have different varieties of sponsorship offerings, so not just website banners, but live sponsorship events. And then we're also going to be offering sponsorship in our mobile app. So there's current ability and then future potential.
So I would again say the same thing to you, that maybe you've done that, but seems like you haven't. You have to go out and raise money and hire dedicated resources, who are your photographers and the people that you talked about, so that you can take this business to the next level. I'm sure other panelists have other ideas.
Yvonne, I'd encourage you to take a step back and think about what is the kind of business model that you're trying to create, right? So when you think about a media platform, online business model, that'll help you sort of sort through. You can't necessarily hire a team before you know what the strategy is going to be. When you think about publishing or cookbook sales, just kind of sequence it accordingly, where first try to create a targeted customer-based loyalty business model where you can actually comfortably have some revenue streams, and then think about expanding, whether it's international expansion or going into business lines that are outside of your core market. So focus on your core customer, build a business plan that targets that customer before you think about, because then that'll help you answer what kind of team members you need to hire and when. We're happy to answer some questions afterwards if you need to
that'll be
think that
great.
through.
Thank you.
And so quickly, I'd say also, I love your product. We've partnered with you a lot. It's been a wonderful partnership. I will tell you, I think you have a jewel in the crown. You don't realize the asset you have, and you just have to figure out how to monetize that.
Yeah.
When we've retained big media agencies sometimes for some of the things we've done, like BBDO or Omnicom, and they do a search on what are the most relevant blogs, yours comes up among the top 3. And these are big billion-dollar media companies saying, My Halal Kitchen is the top blog in halal. So there's obviously something there. Media companies are paying attention. Right. You just need to figure out how to monetize that better. I think the panelists gave very good feedback on really trying to understand what the model is and scaling it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you.